Hello guys and welcome to my video. It's Mushman and today we're going to analyze the poem Reciprocities by Cathal Lagal. Before we head straight to the analysis, let's read the poem as a whole. Reciprocities by Cathal Lagal. She gave me skeins of wool to hold like a priest at mass, with stern rubrics not to fidget, while she wound it into a ball, unwinding it, unraveling my hands and arms, checking my lapses with a gentle tug when I wandered off through images her chart had made. For thou she kept the line between us taut, she kept my heart at ease with all her talk. And when her ball compacted grew, and my few strands fell limp away, I knew there was no loss, for she would knit it back again to fit me perfectly, but richer still. I see today these lines are drawn out from me to knit through this faltering verse a thread of memory time has pulled away from consciousness. The poem Reciprocities is a narrative poem with a free verse. It does not follow a specific set of rules. The first stanza comprises of 10 lines, the second stanza comprises of 4 lines, and stanza 3 comprises of 5 lines. In this free verse, the speaker reflects on how he used to help his mother during her knitting sessions. He thinks about how his mother would make him hold the skeins of wool so she could roll it into a ball. He is also reminded of the relationship they had. He is now a writer, and his writing process reminds him of those childhood years, so he compares his writings to his mother's knittings. His mother benefited from him just like he benefited from his mother's experience, commitment, talks, and skills. So now let's look at the analysis of the poem. In this poem, the speaker remembers how he helped his mother by holding the skeins of wool to wind it into a small ball so she could do her knitting. He details the process, focusing on her mother's precision and attention to detail. He then compares that whole process to that of him writing his poetry. So this poem is about mutual benefit. The mother will be assisted by the boy when knitting. The boy has now grown up to be a man, and he now writes poetry. He now compares his writing to his mother's knitting. Let's look at stanza number 1. Let's analyze stanza number 1. In stanza 1, the speaker looks at the process of spinning the wool into a ball. His mother would give him skeins to hold with 2 hands held up and wide apart. Holding his hands like that will make him look like a priest at mass. This is evidence in line number 2. He would be given instructions to follow, just like a priest will follow instructions from the rubrics. He will be told not to move or twist. This is evident in line number 3. As the process goes on, his head will spin, resulting to his confusion and wandering. He will drop his hands. She will check his concentration by pulling the strands harder. This is evidence in line number 5 and 6. If he loses concentration and starts to wander and form images in his head, his mother would put him at ease by talking to him. So now let's look at stanza number 2. In stanza number 2, when the ball of firm, strong wool grew bigger and bigger, it is a sign that there was no loss and they had enough for his mother to knit him something. This is evident in line number 11. In stanza number 3, looking back, he now realizes that his imperfect poems that he creates are not as perfect as his mother's knitting. His writing is like a thread that connects him to his mother. Writing poetry always prompts his thought about his mother's knitting, but line 15 is used to show transition or to link his childhood to adulthood. So now let's look at the themes of the poem. The first theme is nostalgia, because the poem refers to a specific event that happened in the past. So the second theme is mutual dependence. The mother benefited from the boy who held the skeins of cotton for her. The boy also benefited from his mother's knitting because he compares his poems to his mother's knitting. Now let's look at the tone and mood of the poem. The first tone and mood of the poem is appreciative. The speaker appreciates the lesson he learned from his mother. Then the second tone and mood is nostalgic and sentimental because the speaker feels nostalgic and sentimental when he writes poetry, meaning that he is reminiscing of an event that happened in the past. Now let's look at the figurative language in the poem, the diction. This poem is a free verse and it uses a language that is visually descriptive. So the first figure of speech is simi, that is evident in line number 2, to hold out like a priest at mass. The poet is ordered to lift his hands up, just like a priest would lift his hands up during a sermon. Then the second figure of speech is personification, a thread of memory or time has pulled away in line number 18 to 19. Time is personified as a person who has pulled a thread of memory away from consciousness. Then the last figure of speech is contrast, which is brought by but. The words but in line number 15, it links the past to present. The words but links the past to present, childhood to adulthood. So we have reached the end of our video. So please support me by subscribing, liking and commenting to my videos. Thank you.